Right now, PSNS is undergoing important renovations to address seismic vulnerabilities and prepare for the new Ford-class aircraft carriers. This administration, however, is actively encouraging our shipbuilders to leave their jobs and putting up absurd barriers to hiring new civilian workers. Almost 2,000 naval shipyard workers have already taken the deferred resignation under the threat of looming mass layoffs. And Trump's Office of Personnel Management is insisting on approving civilians one by one, which is creating massive slowdowns and ballooning wait lists to hire the workers that we need at every base in this country. And on top of that, on May 29th, OPM added a requirement for
Patriots, listen up, because what I just watched in that Senate hearing is another classic case of left-wing theatrics and government overreach being dressed up as concern for workers. But don't be fooled. Today, we're calling out Senator Patty Murray and exposing the truth behind her anti-American, anti-accountability agenda. This is Right View Nation, and we speak the truth loud and unapologetically. Let's dive into this. So Senator Murray starts off by praising the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Now, sure, it's an important facility. We can agree on that. It's crucial to our Indo-Pacific strategy and national defense. But here's the kicker. She turns right around and blames the Trump administration for the shipyard's employment issues. Seriously? Almost 2,000 workers chose to take deferred resignation, and she wants to act like Trump himself walked in and forced them out? Let's be honest, what she's mad about is accountability. The Trump administration demanded proper vetting and national loyalty for our civilian hires in military installations. God forbid we ask people in sensitive positions to actually believe in the mission of the country they're serving. And now she's whining because the Office of Personnel Management wants new civilian hires to explain how they'd support the president's executive orders? Oh no, a welder might have to write 3 sentences. Cry me a river, Senator. Let me be crystal clear. There is no loyalty oath. That's just leftist propaganda. What they're really upset about is that President Trump, unlike the bureaucrats they worship, wanted civilian hires who weren't working against our nation from the inside. Murray tries to spin it like this is some Orwellian thought test. Give me a break.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Senator Murray and then Senator Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, located in my home state of Washington, is one of the largest shipyards in the country and the only shipyard on the entire West Coast that can dry dock Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. It's a huge asset to the Navy and the overall Indo-Pacific strategy. Right now, PSNS is undergoing important renovations to address seismic vulnerabilities and prepare for the new Ford-class aircraft carriers. This administration, however, is actively encouraging our shipbuilders to leave their jobs and putting up absurd barriers to hiring new civilian workers. Almost 2,000 naval shipyard workers have already taken the deferred resignation under the threat of looming mass layoffs. And Trump's Office of Personnel Management is insisting on approving civilians one by one, which is creating massive slowdowns and ballooning wait lists to hire the workers that we need at every base in this country. And on top of that, on May 29th, OPM added a requirement for new civilian, nonpartisan hires to write about how they would, quote, advance the president's executive orders and policy priorities as part of their application process. Secretary Phelan, how does a welder's fluency in or support of Trump's executive orders relate to their qualifications as a welder?
Senator, thank you for the question. I did visit Puget Sound and saw a lot of the impressive work that was done there. As to your question on the, I believe what you're referring to is the civilian loyalty oath, and my understanding is the Department of the Navy continues to use the same appointment affidavit it's been using since 2002 for civilian hires, and we are waiting for guidance from the Department of Defense as it relates to any revisions.
Well, will you push back on OPM's political purity tests and object to them individually approving civilian hires?
Senator, I'll have to wait to see what it is they recommend before I tell
Okay,
you which way
well,
I'm going to go.
from my position, a nonpartisan government hire should not need to articulate which Trump policy they like best just to get hired, and a welder should not need to share their favorite Trump executive order. This is putting us behind. So I just think that this is something that we all need to take notice of, and I hope as you get your guidance that you push back on that. Second question, Naval Base Kitsap, also in my state, is the third largest Navy base in the United States. It's home to 15,000 service members, nearly 18,000 family members and retirees. But since 2022, the Defense Health Agency has repeatedly ordered the base's hospital to cut critical staff and medical care, which has been devastating for our service members and their families' access to health care. Right now, in fact, Naval Hospital Bremerton's internal medicine department has zero physicians for over 2,000 patients. Instead of hiring anyone, DHA is forcing patients now to travel over an hour on a good day each way to Madigan Army Medical Center at Joint Base Lewis McChord. Mr. Secretary, this is just unacceptable. Can you fill me in on what the Navy is doing to fill those vacancies at Bremerton?
Senator, thank you for the question. As you know, I've been visiting a number of different installations of ours, and from some of the conditions of the barracks to some of the conditions of the medical facilities, et cetera, we have issues at most of them. On that specific one, I'm going to have to get back to you and get some more detail on it, which I will do.
Admiral, do you have anything to add?
I agree with your assessment, ma'am. There are challenges with DHA across the board for the Navy, and we're working, like all the other services, to make sure we're providing the best health care we can for our service members and our families.
This is a readiness issue. It's a retention issue. It's personal for these families. So please, if you could get back to me about what steps we are going to take to fix this. Finally, let me ask you about Naval Station Everett. It was designated as the home station for the new class of frigates in 2022. However, the design delays have postponed production for the last 3 years. I understand that you and the department leadership are considering several options for the future of the Constellation-class frigate, and I'd emphasize this committee needs the budget details to put this bill together. So if you can make sure we have that and talk for a minute about what you see as the implications for Everett under the different scenarios the department might propose for the frigate program.
So let me take that one for the record and come back to you.
I would appreciate the response to that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Imagine being so allergic to patriotism that asking someone to align with the country's priorities before working in a national defense facility is offensive to you. It's not a purity test. It's called basic national security, something Democrats have clearly forgotten. Then she moves on to Naval Base Kitsap and complains that military families are suffering due to healthcare cuts and long travel times. Look, I agree, our service members deserve the best care possible. No debate there. But where was Patty Murray's outrage when billions were being shipped off to foreign countries for nonsense climate funds, gender studies in Pakistan, or weapons for endless foreign wars that never end? She voted for all of that. Now she's pretending to care about base hospitals while her own party's bloated budget and mismanagement cut military support at home? Spare us the crocodile tears. You can't burn the house down and then cry because there's no roof over your head. The Defense Health Agency is a mess, but it's not Trump's hiring standards that caused that. It's the bloated, inefficient, unaccountable swamp Murray has spent her entire career protecting. And finally, she talks about the Constellation-class frigates delayed at Naval Station Everett. Let me ask, why are they delayed? Because under the Biden administration, and with support from Murray herself, we've seen nothing but stalled defense production, strangled by red tape, DI mandates, ESG priorities, and woke nonsense infecting every inch of our military. You want new warships, Senator? Then stop supporting policies that turn our shipbuilders into social workers and our defense contractors into diversity coordinators. Folks, what this hearing showed us is everything we've come to expect from the left. Blame Trump. Dodge responsibility. Pretend to care. Push radical policies under the mask of compassion. Senator Patty Murray wants you to believe she's looking out for workers and military families, but all she's doing is attacking the very principles that built this country: patriotism, accountability, and national pride. Well, here at Right View Nation, we don't fall for it. We see through it, and we will call it out every single time. If you're tired of weak leadership and want to put America first, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, the swamp can't drain itself. We the people have to flush it out. This is Right View Nation, and we don't back down.